morning everyone. Welcome back to Ignited Minds. It's been a long time since I posted any video. Meanwhile, I was preparing other subjects that could help you learn during your examinations. I had given you a feedback form in which I got a lot of responses, and amongst the responses there were few subjects like science, mathematics as well as reasoning. So today I am going to share one science video with you, and it is from class 7 NCERT. The name of the chapter is Motion and Time. It is one of the chapter where students face a lot of issues in understanding the concepts. But let me make it very clear to you, instead of making it more difficult, I am going to make it a little easier for you. So let's start. Now, this heading of the chapter is time and motion. What do we understand from motion? If I talk about my hand, and if I move my hand to and fro, upwards and backwards, that means my hand is not stationary, it is moving. That means my hand is in motion. What is that factor which is connected with motion? It is time. That means in how many minutes is my hand moving from this direction to that direction. So this chapter is all about the motion and how the motion is connected with time. Before going on to time and motion, you need to know that there are three kinds of motion: linear motion, circular motion and curvilinear motion. Linear, as name suggests, linear line means a straight line. So linear motion will be motion in a straight line. Suppose if there is a straight path and we are walking on that path, that means it is a linear motion. Circular motion, another good example. You must have gone to lot of museums, you must have gone to lot of fairs, you must have seen the wall of death where the bikers are moving in a circle. So if you're moving in a circular path, that motion is going to be circular motion. Third is curvilinear motion. Curvilinear motion is simply when you move on a curved path. So we have three types of motion: linear motion, that means walking on a straight path; circular motion, moving on a circular path; and curvilinear motion means moving on a curved line. Now there are three terms which are the basics of time and motion: speed, time and distance. So speed meaning is how much distance you are able to cover in a perfect motion of time. Now suppose if I am at my house and I have to go to my school using a scooty. So I have a lot of speed in the scooty. I can ride the scooty at 20, 40, 60 or 80. What does it mean? It means how much distance I am covering in how much time will define my speed. Time is simply how much time you take, and distance is how much distance you covered. Now it happens certain times that out of these three entities, only two entities are given and you have to find the third one. So how to go about it? There is a simple formula which you can learn through these three triangles. Speed formula will be speed is equal to distance upon time. If you divide the distance with the time, total distance by the total time, you will get the value of speed. Now from this formula only you can derive the formula for distance. If you talk about this distance, so this distance is going to be speed into time. Similarly, if you talk about this time, naturally from the second formula you can get the third one. Time equals to distance upon speed. So if distance and time are given, you can find out the time. Distance and speed is given, you can find out the time. Speed and time is given, then you can find out the distance. And if distance and time is given, you can find out the speed. Now, when talking about the speed, there are three kinds of speed. First, uniform speed. Now, what does uniform means? Equal. So, when the speed is constant and is not changing at regular intervals. Regular intervals means, suppose I have to travel a distance of 50 kilometers. In the first 5 kilometers, my speed was 10. In the next 5 kilometers also it was 10, and till the 50th kilometer my speed was constant, that means it was 10. So when the speed is constant or when it is equal, it is called as uniform speed. Non-uniform is the opposite of uniform speed. That means when the speed is not similar, equal, when it is unequal, then it is going to be called as a non-uniform speed. We have all kind of watches to measure the time. We have all kind of equipments, but what about those times when we did not have these equipments? We had 5 ways of measuring time. The first one, if you can see, is a sundial. Sundial uses the concept of the shadow. As soon as the shadow shifts, we use to measure the time. In short, sundial actually works with the help of shadow. Now coming on to the sand clock. Sand clock you must have seen very easily in most of the places. There are 2 cubes, hollow cubes, which are hollow triangle kind of a structure, which are connected vertically through a narrow neck, and the sand is filled in the top one. It comes gradually to the bottom one. So when the full top lift is filled and it comes down, it is known as a sand clock. That means the time is full. Now water clock, in the case of sand clock, the sand keeps moving. In case of water clock, the water comes down. When the top one is completed, it is vacant, and the bottom one is filled with water. That is how we measure the amount of time. Now coming on to pendulum clock. Pendulum clock is a very easy concept. You must have seen pendulum moving here and there. So basically there is a ball like structure which is kept in the middle. So it goes to one extreme end, it comes back, then again it goes to the another extreme end, and it comes back. So once it completes both the oscillations, one to the left, one to the right, and when it comes back, that equals to 1 unit of time that we measure. Now coming on to quartz clock. So quartz is actually a mineral which is abundant on the earth's surface, and the technology behind it is whenever you give a shock or volt to quartz, it starts deforming or changing its shape and starts vibrating. So you must have seen whenever you have this clock, there is a tickling needle of second. It moves per second like this. So that is quartz be vibrating, and that is how when it covers the 60 tickles, it equals to 1 minute. This is actually more better way of identifying time and measuring time. So this is how the measuring devices were being used. Now coming on to how to measure time and speed. Time, it's a very simple concept. Time you already know. Time is always measured in second, minutes or hours. Then if you have to find out speed, distance has 2 units, either meters or kilometers. So if you have to find out the speed, what is going to be the formula? Distance upon time. That means distance, if it is meter, then speed is going to be meter by second or meter by minute or meter by hour. Next, there are some conversion units. Suppose if the speed is given in kilometers per hour and you have to convert it into meter per second, then how will you do it? Simply divide it by 3.6 or 18 by 5. If you have to convert a speed that is given in kilometers per hour into meter per second, you're simply going to divide it by 3.6 or 18 by 5. And the same is in the vice versa. The only difference is that in case of dividing by 3.6, you simply multiply it by 3.6 or 18 by 5. If you have to convert from meter per second into kilometers per hour, you will simply multiply it by 18 by 5. Now let us come back to the pendulum. Just now we have studied about pendulum clock. So now let us see the basic structure of a pendulum. A pendulum is connected with a rigid support. Of course there will be a support, and then there will be a thread, and then there will be the ball. So this is S, which is also called as rigid support. Rigid means strong. This is a long thread through which this ball, which is also known as bob, is connected. Now this is called length, which is a long thread. This is a bob, which is basically made of a metal ball. Now this is the simple structure of pendulum. It's not moving, it's static. When it moves, there are some additional terms which will come into the picture. Now suppose we name this bob or ball as A. These are not three balls, these two are just the position of the single ball. Now when it starts moving, it will start from this direction. It will go to one extreme position and come back, and similarly it will go to another extreme position and come back. So these two positions are called extreme positions. From the center it will go to this side, then come back, then this side, and then come back. So the total time taken by this single ball is called the total time period, and these small movement that it does is called oscillations. Oscillations are just to and fro movements. So these small oscillations and the complete oscillation time is known as the total time taken by this ball, right? So this is how this pendulum moves. Now you will ask me, what is the motion of this pendulum ball? The motion is simply as auxiliary motion. Auxiliary means to and fro. So this is the basic structure of pendulum, and when it starts moving, it goes to two extreme ends, and the total time is calculated when this single ball goes to both the extreme ends and come back. Now you have learned about all the main important points. What kind of motion are there? Linear, circular, curvilinear. How many types of speed are there? What is the formula for finding speed, distance and time? What are the measuring devices that were used earlier or are even used in current periods? What is the unit to measure time and speed? How to convert the speed? Then coming on to, you have learned about pendulum, what is the structure of pendulum, and when it moves, how many positions it takes. Now after learning all this, I'm going to teach you a basic time and distance graph. Now here what we are going to do, we are going to make an x-axis and a y-axis, and we are going to divide all these into equal parts. Like on the x-axis we are going to write distance, and 1 kilometer will be 1 centimeter. Now this 1 centimeter will be equal to 1 kilometer, and in this we'll make time, and here it will be 1 minute equals to 1 kilometer, right? So now this basic 1 centimeter, now this centimeter will be 1 minute and this centimeter will be 1 kilometer. Now consider an object which is moving at a constant speed. It is covering the same time and distance. For example, in 1 minute it is covering 1 kilometer. Then in another 1 minute it is covering another 1 kilometer. Then in another 1 minute it is covering 1 kilometer. So what will you see? You will make points here, and when you will join those points, it will be a straight line. So what does this show? It shows that the speed in this pattern is constant. It is going to be a constant speed. Why? Because at equal interval of time, it is covering an equal distance. So such type of graph are called as uniform speed graph. You can find out the uniform speed from this. Now consider another graph. You can see here, x-axis we have similarly divided as distance 1 kilometer, 1 centimeter, time 1 minute, 1 centimeter. But in this case we see that the distance is not increasing. In this case time is increasing, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute, but the distance is only 1 kilometer. So what does it signify? That means the object is not moving, the object is constant or stationary. So such kind of graphs are called as stationary object graph, where it is clearly visible that the object is not moving. Now the third kind of graph, similar structure if we follow, you see at equal timing the distance covered is more. Sometimes it is less, sometimes it is more. So in this kind of graph, it is called as a non-uniform graph. Even the time is changing. Now you see at this point the time has changed. So when the time and distance continuously changes, the speed cannot be constant, the speed cannot be uniform. In other words, it will be non-uniform speed, right? So these are the three examples of distance, time and distance graph, where it is a uniform speed, it is a stationary object, no speed. Here it's a non-uniform speed. Now you must have traveled through buses, car, bicycles, gear bicycles. You will have two things mandatorily there. One is speedometer and the other is odometer. Speedometer, as the name suggests, it determines the speed, right? How much speed is the vehicle running at. And odometer simply means how much distance had that vehicle totally covered upon. So these two things you will also find in your vehicles. So I feel this time in motion I have made it clear in the very short and crisp manner. Everything has been covered here. The formulas have been told here. The graph have been discussed here. I hope you must have understood and liked the video. So please keep promoting this channel. Keep promoting your channel. Go like and subscribe Ignited Minds. Thank you.